Yeah, Provenance. I mean, Provenance is what sells instruments a lot of the time. Um, I mean, the one that stuck with me the most was we had a particular Guild guitar. I'll probably get the model number wrong. I think it was a CE100D, which is their version of the Gibson 175, so jazz box. We got it for a guy who'd invested his savings. He hated banks and the banking system, so he invested his savings in jazz guitars. His thing was jazz. I think he was an art teacher. And we sold quite a few art stuff for him, but this one particular girl that kept sticking, and he kept taking it back. We got it here to sell on commission, and he kept putting it back for us. You know, that's the one that I really, really liked. And it was a quirky guitar too. The neck was too thin, so I wanted to shave the neck down.
Right.
And the pickups were out of phase with each other, so the whole thing was. But he kept saying there's something about that guitar that I really, really like. But then he'd run short of money, and then the guitar come back again, and this guitar just wouldn't sell, you know. And it made various visits to and fro. And throughout that time, he'd stated that he'd actually got the guitar off a well-known jazz guitarist, a fellow called Adrian Ingram. But he hadn't got it off him directly, but he got it for a third party, so he never knew if that was the case. And one time he was really desperate for us to get this thing sold, so we decided to put it on eBay. But just before the eBay auction ended, we got a really peculiar message from somebody saying, can you take a photograph of the string height over the neck pickup? And I thought, well, surely this person wants to look at the string height at the 12th fret. So I sent him a picture of the string height at the 12th fret. We got this message back saying that quite abrupt. No, that is not what I meant. I meant this. Oh, okay, all right. Anyway, sent him the picture of the string height over the neck pickup. And lo and behold, they didn't buy the guitar. And about probably 2 weeks later, we got a phone call at the shop. I took a phone call from a guy who said, you had a Guild on eBay the other week. He said, I was the person asking you strange questions. Adrian Ingram, the jazz guitarist. And he said, I was asking about that because when I play with my hand entirely over the neck pickup. He says, from years of bad habits, from playing SGs to get the neck up like that, and so you always end up playing there. And he said, have you still got the guitar? Yeah, sir. He was going to come and buy it, and then that fell through. And then about a couple of months later, I walked in and I didn't know who he was. He was just just like a sort of regular Joe. It was cold in the winter. He was wearing a big coat, and he was introduced himself to me. Anyway, he played the guitar, played on this amazing guitar, and it was kind of, it was completely effortless. It was almost as if. We can talk to you like I'm talking to you now and just playing all this stuff. And so there'd be walking bass lines going into things and things coming across and counterpoint and whatever, and melody and massive chord substitutions and single note lines, the whole shooting match, but completely musical without any sort of edge of showing off. And he bought a picture of himself with this guitar, promo, black and white glossy promo from the 80s. And he said, that's definitely my guitar, isn't it? Yeah. And as he played it, and he said, someone slimmed the neck down, and severely, like a toothpick. and they'd made I think they did some other modifications to it, which I think they changed the bridge and some other things. And he bought the guitar. And the reason that he bought the guitar was that he wasn't getting taken seriously at jazz gigs. He was playing a Fender Telecaster, which he'd always been associated with, but jazz purists couldn't have him playing a solid guitar, which I just thought was ridiculous myself. But if it sounds good, what's it matter? But so he got the guitar. As he left, this is the main thing, really, the crux of it. He said, "That's the third time I've had to buy that guitar back." I just thought, well, and I think. When you talk about having a guitar that can supposedly tell its own story,
I
think that's all interlinked, isn't it? And there's, earlier on, you had somebody talking about how he regarded the guitar as a tool, and that that's probably quite a good concept, you know what I mean? But you could still have a favourite screwdriver, you ask a builder who's got a favourite trowel or something.
Yeah.
And I think there's something, you know, I don't think there's anything sort of magical about it, like the way some people carry on about it, but there's definitely something about different types of guitar. You know, if I gave you a brand new electric guitar, already easy to play, blah blah blah, and it you know, it might make you do a certain thing, but if I gave you a 1950s archtop that's got thick strings on and you can only play it one way, it dictates a certain type of thing. So you know, there's a lot to it.
I think it's a lovely story because it's interesting that, you know, he does encounter the guitar at different times repeatedly, and you know, it's changed on the way through, and